Today is one of those days that I felt like I don't really want to be on camera right now. Still working through some hot flashes, but getting a little bit better. Although trying to deal with that weight gain in that situation when you're dealing with hormones. I think you understand. Today, this video is about finding I think I have at least 8 healthy tips that'll help you with weight loss that are so simple and easy, and just little tweaks that I think anyone can do, including you. Now, there are many challenges that can stagnate our weight loss, but it doesn't have to be so every day in and out. And so I want to give a little bit of inspiration to try some of these tips. Some of them I've talked about already, some I may not have. Maybe you could just take 1 or 2 of these tips and run with it. Okay, let's get down to it. Tip number 1, stop punishing ourselves. It doesn't matter what weight we're at right now, whatever the scale says, we have to learn how to love ourselves. I tend to have certain clothing that I know if I'm a little heavier than I was a week ago, maybe it's 5 or 6 pounds, maybe it's more than that, I have to make a commitment to myself that I'm not gonna beat myself up. You shouldn't either. And I'm just going to embrace the day-to-day about getting closer and closer to your goal. Whether it looks like you're stagnated or not, you're going to do things that are gonna work for you, that are not necessarily about a metric, a weight, a number. So let's not look at punishing ourselves for the number that we're at right now, because I bet you still look great. Tip number 2, change your thoughts. You know, that little voice that keeps coming into your head. I don't mean God, but I mean yourself and the enemy that you have become when you are not on point, as we will say, right? Some people use the words, oh, I fell off my game. What does it matter now? I'm just gonna eat what I want because I messed up anyway today. You heard that before. Or I suck and I'm just going ahead and eat that cake just because I already messed up all week, so what does it matter that I add on this dessert? You know, the small talk. Change the small talk. Look at it from a different standpoint. So let's stop encouraging the bad behavior that we dislike anyway, and we know we don't want to be there, and we know what the results will be. And no matter if we fell off our so-called game, we can always jump back on right away. Tip number 3. Instead of changing drastically all your behaviors towards food, why don't we first look at intermittent fasting? And if you're not intermittent fasting, it's something you may want to try. So that's about eating in a certain time window and not eating in a window that goes longer than your normal eating schedule per se. Just to make it simple, and if you are interested in more intermittent fasting, I have a playlist and I'll make sure I'll leave it up there for you to check out for all types of intermittent fasting and different ways that you can try. What I mean for today is just cut off a certain time at the end of the day, say for example, say 7 o'clock p.m. If you go to bed at 10 or 11, it's best to have at least 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed that you haven't eaten. And so your body will start to go into that mode of realizing that you're gonna go a little bit longer in your schedule of not eating, and that will help you lose some of those extra pounds. Instead of looking at the food drastically, I'm gonna change everything right now. I'm gonna stop eating sugar. I'm gonna stop eating salt. I'm gonna stop eating meat, whatever the case is. Any of those things, just start first. If you're at the beginning of fighting yourself about changing all your food behaviors, instead, let's just change the timing of when we eat. Tip number 4, instead of eliminating all the foods in your diet, daily diet, why don't you just add in additional foods that are really good for you? Something simple like trying seasonal foods that are like vegetables and fruits that have a lot of colors. maybe just add in some more of that to the food you're already eating. That's what's known as diluting your food. So diluting the high calorie foods that you would normally eat and adding in more vegetables and eating those first, right, as an example, then will fill you up faster, and then you'll tend to eat less of the heavier foods that you're trying to get rid of or just trying to minimize what you're eating there. So diluting your food and just adding in more vegetables and more fruit instead of taking away everything at once. Starting a new habit. Yeah, I know. Starting new habits are all about just being consistent day in and day out. If you make it a small habit change, then it's something that you probably can stick to and be consistent. Choose something like adding 2 vegetables in per day. You know, maybe you're a person that doesn't eat vegetables, or you not really much into it right now. But if you can just say to yourself, look, I'm going to add 2 vegetables, or maybe I'm going to add 1 vegetable and 1 fruit per day, and see how it goes for the next couple of weeks. And you start to enjoy the taste of the food. Another example of starting a small habit would be just drinking more water, right? We all need to drink more water. I know there's days that I forget to drink enough water because I'm, running around, working. It's easy to fall off of that. And this is something that you just have to either add an app to your phone or some kind of reminder, putting the big water bottle in front of you or a big glass in front of you. And so every time it's empty, you get up and take a break and go get another glass. There's a lot of ways that you can just add on these small habits. The next tip is focus on commitments or changes instead of the actual result. Okay, so if you're looking at, say, a small commitment would be trying a fun exercise instead of going to the gym and running up your cortisol levels, right, with doing way too aggressive exercise that you probably won't sustain in the long run. Look at something you're passionate about, a hobby, something that will burn calories in a way that you don't even notice that you're actually doing the exercise. So for me, you know what that is, and that's roller skating. So that's become my exercise of choice, but I know it's fun. And then also I walk in between that. And so these are commitments to yourself instead of trying to look at the result of, I got to lose 10 pounds, so therefore I need to go to that gym and knock myself out every day and totally deplete myself of energy. So look at it that way. So small commitments, small changes that are looking at just that, but not the actual results. Another tip I would say is find yourself a holistic doctor. I know I've said this time and time again. You might want to take a look at your hormones and get some testing done to see where you're at, because you can be doing all this hard work, working out, change your diet, doing all the right things, and you don't see the scale budge, right? And this could be totally disheartening. So you want to make sure that before you're investing all your time and effort into a fitness and diet plan, that you go ahead and check out your insides with the holistic doctor of some sort that is looking at your hormones as well. Get with a holistic doctor that understands the whole body more than just the surface panel of blood work. The bottom line is we spend the majority of our time making those small little changes instead of just looking at the bottom line of what's on the scale. I thank you so much for watching, and if you have more tips and things that you like to share with me, please do leave it in the comment section below, and you can find me on IG, Instagram at RegEdited. If you have any questions, please reach out or find me on my website at regedited.com. I thank you so much again, and we will talk to you soon, and always remember, keep searching for that perfect bite and balance. Cheers.